What? Bang!
Whoa! Wrestling podcast. Just when they think they got the answers, I change the question.
Rep, screw, rep.
Yeah! Woo!
Who are you to doubt El Dan? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Did he do it? Unbelievable!
Too hot to handle and too cold to hold. And I am Macho King Savage.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty! I said WWE stands for! It's me, Austin! I will never retire!
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. Hey, look, are you sick and tired of dropping $50 to $100 for the latest and greatest wrestling game? You gotta stop. Put that money back in your pocket and instead jump over to Wrestler Unstoppable, totally free at app.wrestlerunstoppable.com. Create a wrestler, sign contracts, get into storylines, headline PLEs, even build your own company from the ground up, all included in Wrestler Unstoppable. You got to check it out today at app.wrestlerunstoppable.com. While you're there, look up Odin Maximus. That's my avatar. I'll be happy to help you get started in the game. Check that out today. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family, want your name in the shout-outs like John down in Texas, then you got to pop by our Patreon channel at patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Podcast. Sign up today. We got loyalty rewards. And for this month only, $10 a month contributors get to co-host a show with me. $5 a month contributors get entered into a drawing to also co-host a show with myself. Thank you for joining us tonight for this episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. If you got questions, comments, something you want me to talk about in a future episode that I don't cover tonight, please give me a shout. Pro Wrestling Sound Offline 267-642-1160, and I will get to those conversations in a future episode. Tonight, got to talk about some of the things in the news. One, we got an update on El Hijo del Vikingo, who tore his ACL. He is out for roughly 9 months is what they're saying. And I actually think it'll be longer than that just because of the high quality moveset that he has. And everything is like super daredevil, high flying flips, turns, twists, corkscrews, all that kind of craziness. I think Vikingo, to be on the safe side, needs to take caution with this. He's a young man. He's got a lot of years left in front of him, and he's started to get some WWE main exposure right before the injury, facing Rey Fenix for that AAA championship on SmackDown. This could have been huge for him had he not got injured. So when he comes back, he needs to be ready to go. WWE is always looking for that next talent that's going to break through. And he's the kind of guy who has a character who could do just that. It's going to be a shame to see him go away. He's had so many injuries over the past several years, way back when he was in TNA, when he was in AEW, and now in WWE/AAA. Really tough stuff for him. Hopefully he gets better sooner than later. 9 months conservatively. I think it's going to be more like 12. Just because of the moveset. I thought there was something really interesting that came out this week. Booker T was on his podcast, and they played a clip for him of Trick Williams talking about how he wants Booker T to come out of retirement for SummerSlam 2027 to face him, and Booker T did not shut down the notion of doing that. He actually seemed somewhat into the idea and talked about whether or not he has a year worth of, getting himself ready to do a match like that and how it might actually be something he's be interested in doing. I would love to see it. Obviously, you would expect him to put Williams over. I think that makes all the sense in the world, but the fact that at his age he could still even consider doing this is just a testament to his incredible conditioning, his incredible skill set, and it's something I think a lot of people would enjoy seeing Booker T and Trick Williams in the ring. Trick Williams has got plenty of time then over the course of the next year to kind of put himself in a strategic position where he would be taken more seriously as like a main event level star, and having a match with, a legend like Booker T and having Booker put you over could only raise your stock. I understand some people don't like when people wrestle the old timers or whatever, but Booker T looks the same now as he did 25 years ago. He looks great. He's in great shape. I'd love to see the match. I hope they find a way to make it happen. I really do. Gotta talk big news today about WWE's attendance figures. The announcement came out that their attendance for 2026 is down 23.5% from last year. To give you some hard numbers, in 2026, so far this year, their average attendance to one of their shows, 10,810 people. Now you say to yourself, back in the day, before AEW formed, Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, their goal was to sell out 10,000 seats in any arena because nobody had done that other than WWE or something to that nature. And they did that. It was a big to-do. So WWE having 10,000 people at their average show seems like a lot. But when you look at 2025, where they had the average attendance of 14,132, that is a significant, that's almost 25% of your drop-off. 25%? Are you kidding me? That is absolutely terrible. And here's what's so frustrating about it. They're still reporting record earnings because they've jacked up ticket prices so much it's astronomically ridiculous. So they're still making money hand over fist. So even the fact that we know that SummerSlam is having a tough time selling tickets. As of the other day, they only had 22,000 tickets sold for night one. 21,000, oddly. Usually we think of it the other way around. 21,000 for night two. And I understand some people are going to wait till the last minute. They'll probably get tickets at the end of the period, and you'll probably see about 30,000 per night sell. But that's a sharp decline from 50,000 per night last year at SummerSlam. Now, is it because they're in Minnesota? There's not as much to do there, at least from like a tourism standpoint. I don't know if I buy that because there's plenty of stuff to do in Minnesota. If you've ever been there, there's plenty to do. I guess it depends on what you're into. The access, there's less airports, less flights, things like that. If you're coming from another country, which, SummerSlam is supposed to be basically like the WrestleMania of the summer, the biggest party of the summer, you would think you'd want to stack the card so that people would want to fly in from all over the world. And if you're coming from someplace in Europe or Australia, do you really want to fly in and go to Minnesota? You're coming to the U.S. for as much money as you would pay for the flight and the hotel and everything else. And then you couple that with the fact that ticket prices are astronomically high now. I don't know. I think WWE may have hurt themselves in that regard. But again, as long as they make enough money, I don't think they're going to care. I was listening to the Jim Cornette Experience, the drive-through, and Brian Last on the show, his co-host, mentioned that we used to hear at like every pay-per-view about how they sold more tickets, broke this record or that record or another record. And we even heard that for a couple shows, actually quite a few shows. I think Brian Last said it had been forever since he's heard that. I don't know how long it's been because I haven't really been looking for it, but once you mention it, it's like, oh yeah, I haven't heard them talk about breaking records lately. Because yes, they're still raking in the cash, but it's not because they have high attendance. So it's difficult to navigate that conversation without bringing up the fact that you're lacking in attendance, primarily probably due to those high ticket costs, but you're still making money. It makes you look even worse that you're really screwing the people over when you're moving less tickets and making more money. It's really kind of screwed up. The last thing I want to get into tonight, because somebody had some conversation with me about this after a previous episode I recorded, about Jordan Grace, about Braun Breaker, about a lot of their talents on the roster. There was a report this week about how they really wanted Matt Cardona to be Zack Ryder instead of Matt Cardona when he came in, or at least some people. And it doesn't really matter. They've done nothing with him. On SmackDown, we had Fraxium and the War Raiders. A couple months ago, the War Raiders hadn't been seen on TV in forever. The Fraxium was amazing the minute they got to the main roster, and then they fizzled out since, and clearly since they just lost to the War Raiders. And you have to wonder, like, WWE is so stacked with talent right now, and I don't just mean on Raw and SmackDown. NXT is flooded with talent. Evolve is flooded with talent. I believe it was Harlem Lewis just won the Evolve Championship the other day. And if you haven't seen him on LFG, that guy is going to be a ringer for a long time. Great attitude, great look. I mean, they are so deep. And they own AAA, where there's a whole nother crop of talent. AJ Styles is asking them to try to create a WWE NXT version in Japan. They've talked about Indian expansions before. They have their ID program going all over the place. There was talk of going back to Europe and doing a WWE Europe type of thing. There's so much that they could do. And at the end of the day, and I've mentioned this in previous episodes, I really believe They need a third major brand, a third main roster for lack of better terms. Now, how does that happen? Do you purchase TNA? Word was when they set up their working agreement with TNA, all those working agreements they ever put together, whether it was over in Europe, whether it was Evolve, places like that, when they set up those deals, they always reserve the right to purchase the company. I do it at this point. Buy TNA just like it bought AAA and use it. Look, TNA is giving out short-term contracts to their talent. They're not giving long-term deals. WWE can swoop in there and put a plethora of fresh names, big names in TNA, and you can bolster that, and you can make that your third major brand. Talk about competition for AEW, and, or you just elevate NXT. And I'm so tired of hearing. I heard a report, some of the conversation this week about Braun Breaker, and somebody said, they brought him up the main roster so fast, and he did so much. And then when he got in a ring with CM Punk at the start of the year, it was obvious that he was not ready for the main event. He wasn't ready for television. Are you serious? NXT is on television. Where the heck do you think we see NXT? I'm so tired of them acting like NXT is such a developmental brand. They're on a public, or I shouldn't say a public, they're on a cable television station every single week. They get just as good or better numbers than AEW has lately. They are a solid promotion, or a solid brand. There is no reason you can't take some of the main roster talents that you're not using to their fullest ability and put them on NXT. Increase salaries at NXT, so it's a main roster group there. So you'd have Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Evolve could be your new training ground, or you make if you buy TNA, they have that new deal they're setting up with Ohio Valley Wrestling. That could be your new training ground. I don't know, but gosh, when you're talking about a company that's as big as Endeavor, TKO, WWE, all that put together, they can do essentially anything they want. Everything except for buy AEW. That's the one thing I don't think they could do, because Khan's wealthy enough, and I just don't think he'll ever want to sell it. They missed out. They should have bought Ring of Honor, and they could have been another brand. They should be on a buying spree. It should be Vince McMahon 2.0 right now. And I don't mean that to gobble everybody up and shut everybody down. I mean to create more brands. You've got enough talent. There are people we haven't seen on television in months. Why? That doesn't even make sense. If you got 250 people on your roster, it's pointless if none of them are on television. If I were them, I would consider legitimately making either NXT a legit third main roster brand, or going forward with whatever it sounded like they had in place when they made the working arrangement with TNA and buying TNA. And I don't care how much debt they got on the books. You're talking about a multi-billion-dollar organization who would take that, flip it, and turn it into a profit-making company in short order. You get better management in there. You get more stability in there, longer-term contracts in there, better storytelling. And I'm saying that on the heels of the fact that creative in WWE has been crappy lately, but AAA has been phenomenal. So again, you've got Shawn Michaels running NXT. It's running great. You have The Undertaker pretty much running AAA. It looks great. Triple H, when he first started on the main roster, was doing pretty good. Now it's kind of fizzled. It's boring and monotonous, but it is what it is. Who is that next guy who could take a... Do you bring AJ Styles in and say, hey, AJ, we want you to go run TNA Wrestling or run that NXT Japan or whatever you want to call it, WWE Japan? Even if it was remotely, I don't care. They have the talent. They have the ability. They need to make that happen, because the product right now, you have too many people that are not getting television time. I would say the same thing for AEW, but I don't see Tony Khan. He can't even get a TV deal for Ring of Honor right now, so I don't see him picking up more television time when he can't get enough TV time for what he already has. I would love to see them do it as well. And look, there are some people who go, yeah, there's just too much wrestling on TV. We got Monday Night Raw, Tuesday night's NXT, Wednesday night's AEW, Thursday night is TNA, Friday night is SmackDown. You go through the litany of things to watch. You got to fit your New Japan in there somewhere, all the streaming services. I get it. But if you're a fan like I am, and I guarantee you there's a lot of people like me out there that just want to see as much wrestling as possible. I don't care how much there is. I really don't. So I'd like to see them expand, and primarily because I want to see more people get television time, something we're seriously lacking for some of these talents. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us next episode. We'll run down the latest wrestling news and rumors. Special thanks, as always, goes to Suno for creating the music and sound effects I use in the show. If you want to bring a new friend to family game night, it's easy. Bring Sketchy people. Showcase your artistic side in this game from Beezle Games by going to thegamecrafter.com and picking up your copy today. If you're looking for your next career move, maybe you're considering college or university life, maybe you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to my website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life educational planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Dr. Fro. I want to thank you for taking some time with us today. Until next time, take care, everybody. Have a great night.